time on this vlog. I know I'm so used to talking about my podcast, but welcome to another episode of my podcast on Rosecast, which is my podcast. So I sometimes mix that up and mention it as well here. So hello and welcome to another episode on today's vlog. And today's vlog is like you find another version of it on my podcast. So there's a podcast that's having a similar title as this. I'm going to leave that in the description box below. So yes, if you're coming from my podcast and you've already listened to the podcast you already get a vibe of what today's topic is. Or already is an English word. What I've already mentioned that is an English word with a very unique title, so you already understand what today's vlog would be about. So when I did this podcast, I actually was thinking of a vlog I wanted to do. I was like, I want to do a vlog, and I felt like, okay, why don't you just do a vlog version of this podcast? And I said, okay, I quickly just hurried myself up to quickly prepare to today's vlog. So today, if you watch the previous vlog I did about passing my exams, the inspiration for this topic, which was originally a podcast topic, it came before I even wrote the exam, and I was just thinking of, okay, making it a topic, preparing that after the exam I would share this topic. So talking on the issue of failure, the truth is that nobody wants to fail. I'm just repeating this title, and I'm just going to say that if you've not listened to the podcast version, please do go listen to the podcast version, because I think I'm not going to repeat much of what I've said there already. Yes, so please do go listen. It's going to make a good combination for today's topic, and I don't want to really repeat most of what I've already said there. So that being said, nobody wants to fail. Sometimes even for those who don't put enough effort into something, nobody wants to fail. Everybody wants to enjoy an amount of success. Like if you do something, you want to enjoy some success from it, and more so when you have put effort into that thing, more so when you have made effort, you've worked hard, you've sacrificed. Nobody wants to fail. Now, I know there are a lot of motivational speeches where people talk about, I don't fail, I can never fail, and without disrespect to those people, I think that there is something that I believe is us just being realistic with ourselves and honest with ourselves. Let me just put it as the word honest. Being honest with ourselves. At one point or other in our lives, we may have failed at something, we may have made an effort and it did not work out. So regardless of how you may want to have called that experience, it does not remove the fact that it did not work out. And I know that a lot of people give motivational speeches as far about failure. And honestly, today's vlog is not to negate those statements. It's not to say that they are wrong and all that stuff. Actually, I see those things as trying to encourage people to look on the brighter side of life. But if I'll just come practically, the truth is that at some point, one point or the other in our life, except you are such a genius and you've never failed before, I do believe at some point or other in our life, there must have been something that you did or an exam that you wrote that you did not pass, that did not come out as you expected. I remember, like I already mentioned this in the previous vlog about my midterm exam. I remember when I was about to write my O.R.A. In fact, I had already started preparing mentally. Okay, there must have been a slight change if you notice that something happened to interrupt the flow. So to continue, so before my O.R.A., I remember there were a lot of stories that had come up about people failing the results or failing the exam for so many years, and probably it was just one subject that was mainly that maths, English, or one of the science courses that made them fail, and it was something that was a very huge deal. And so for a very long time there was that great concern to make sure that O.R.A. was passed at once. However, the place I started having problems was JAMB. I would just say that I didn't really take jam. I didn't give jam the attention I gave WAEC, and jam was one exam that I wrote multiple times. And I wrote jam multiple times, and honestly, the more I wrote the exam, the more my grades were not improving. I don't know, that's something about jam, like, except for some people that they get after a while they get better grades. And even for the more exams I wrote, I won't even say that I applied maybe something new, to be very honest. I just wanted to pass the exam, but I wasn't passing it I wasn't failing it, like I was still within the cutoff mark range, but not a very great score to get the course I wanted, or even a course close to what I wanted. So nobody wants to fail, and the truth of the matter is that most people are attracted who are successful. Watch your life. If you're already succeeding at something right now, you realize that the cycle of people you are attracting were not the cycle you were attracting before. So influence increase your cycle. Like, when you become successful at something, you get more influence, you get more people interested in what you are doing, you get more people that are willing to partner and associate with you. People that may have been observing for a long time. Now, honestly, you may be doing something beautiful, you may be growing, and there are a lot of people observing you. Maybe some people have even reached you and said, "Oh, I love what you are doing." I'm saying this because firsthand I'm experiencing that, and I know what it feels like. You get people beating you up to say, "Oh, I love what you are doing. What you are doing is beautiful." But the truth is that they are not actively participating in your process. They are not actively involved in what you are doing, or they are not even really maybe going out of their way to support what you are doing. But yes, they give you verbal encouragement. That is even if you are getting it. I would say I'm getting that, and I'm grateful for anyone giving verbal encouragement. But the truth is that when it comes to the active encouragement, the active support, most times more people may not be quick to give that to you unless they see a sort of influence coming around you. Now, when you become influential, when you become successful at what you are doing, when you begin to start creating a name for yourself, or when what you are doing begins to start building, like having a good growth, you will see people desiring to be part of it. Some people will be willing, by the way, beg to be associated with what you are doing, because they know that what you are doing is profitable. However, when you fail at something, it's more likely that people may not give you attention. And it's just because we humans, and we are programmed to be fruitful, we are programmed to be successful, we are programmed to do well at something. That's how God programmed us. Genesis chapter 2, God told Adam, "Be fruitful and multiply." But I think that would be Genesis chapter 1, the ending verse there. God told Adam, "Be fruitful and multiply." So that was God's intentional plan for man, to multiply. Then in chapter 3, we can see everything where God says, "Now you labor for your work, you labor and you toil." So I do not really feel so antagonist to those who are who may not want to associate with me before I become successful, or who may not want to be active supporting. I kind of understand where they are coming from. Majority of them are waiting for the success. And also, I know there are people that make mention of those that stick with you in the hard times. Those people are very beautiful, and I want to say they are rare, but I would say they are not easy to get. There are those that stick with you when you are growing, when you are failing. I would say to an extent, those people are people that really love you, and there are people that have seen something in you that is beautiful. And if you have anybody supporting what you are doing now actively, to a great extent, without them even gaining much from you, because you are not even gaining anything yet, I think you should make more of, but you should appreciate those people more. And when you finally succeed, please make sure those people get more appreciation and recognition from you. Now I'm going to go to the Bible. In my podcast, I shared a different Bible verse. I'm going to share another different Bible verse here. So in Ecclesiastes chapter 9, in verse 11, let me read something beautiful. Let me just summarize that. In verse 11, it says that the race is not swift, and it's the battle not to the strong, but time and chance happiness to them all. So why I want to say that is that the fact that you have failed at something doesn't mean that your life is over. Now, it is easy to say this when you may not going through the process of failure. It's very easy to say it. It's easy to encourage and say motivational words when someone is failing. But the truth of the matter is that life is not predictable. It's not always very predictable. There are people that may look very slow. There are people that may look like their life is going on a slow pace. But by the time they get to a certain stage of their lives, like everything just picks up very fast. And they seem to really catch up with everyone. They seem to just make up for the time they have lost. And there are people that may start very quickly, that may not have any problem, that may not necessarily fail, and they may just go further. But that doesn't mean that they may continue that pace. Now, one of the things about failing is that failing helps you grow stronger. I'm not saying that you need to fail to be strong. One of the things failure does is that it teaches you strength. It adds to the things that you already know. Now, maybe if you failed in something and you go back to make a correction, you already have knowledge and you have something added extra to it. Two, failure helps you to be an encouragement to another person. Now, as much as it's not pleasant to fail, but when you fail at something, you have more background to encourage somebody else in that position. And I do believe that those who may have had an issue with something have gone through a situation, they actually often have a better preposition to encourage somebody going through the same situation. Two, another thing about failing is that it helps you appreciate success more. Like when you fail at something and you succeed, you value your success more compared to if you never struggled over something. I'm not propagating the fact that we need to struggle, please, but I'm saying that sometimes failing makes you appreciate success more. It makes you appreciate where you are more, because you know that getting there took some courage from you. And also experience. There's some experience that you get that you can't just get them if you have only succeeded all your life. And it doesn't make you a very skilled person, both interpersonal and in what you are doing. So failing at something sometimes makes you even more skilled at it. However, it is not a pleasant thing to fail. I don't think anybody looks forward to failing. Even for those who don't put effort, it's not a pleasant experience. However, if it happens, it's good for one to pause and check and see what may have been the loopholes and correct. I do believe that one of my personal principles is that make sure you tried your best as much as possible. Make sure you left no stone unturned, and then let God do the rest. And in times when I feel that I have not made enough effort as I should have, I simply just ask God for mercy. I just ask God, please, I know I may have not reached the standard, but please let me, just show me mercy. So as a believer, as a Christian, I believe that the spiritual is very important. And one of the things that I really believe is very valuable is also knowing what God is saying about your life. Like all of us, our lives are not, like this verse was saying here, the race is not to the swift, not the battle to the strong. So you have to know what God has to say about your life. What has God said to you about your life? What has God said to you about your situation? What has God said to you about what you are doing right now? Like your education, your relationships. What has God said to you about it? So as a believer, that has been one of the things that has been a strong anchor for me. Like going back to God and asking Him to give me a word, or if He has given me a word, going back to ask the Lord to encourage me in that word, and speaking that word and trusting the Lord for that word, believing that since God gave me that word, it's going to come to pass. So if God gives you a word about your life and you see something happening contrary to it, there are two things. It's either there's something you have missed along the way, or it means that it also means that God may have allowed it for His own glory, and it may also have meant that you were careless. There was somewhere you were careless. There was an instruction you disobeyed. There was something you ignored. There was something you did not pay attention to. So when you know God's word for your life concerning all the areas of your life, when failure happens, you can always go back and cross-check what God has to say about it. Knowing that it's not God's will that we fail. However, even if we fail, there is always a way God makes out for us. And I'm just going to repeat this verse. I actually used it on my podcast, but I used another verse. So you have to just check my podcast. Let me just encourage you. Please, the link in my description box below. You can go listen to the podcast. In Romans 8 verse 28, it says, all things work together for good for them that love God. So it says all things. So even if you fail and the failure happened, it was not like it happened probably due to your fault, due to other factors. Maybe it even happened as a contrary to God's word. Maybe it happened as your carelessness. Maybe you did not pray enough or pay attention enough. The word of God says all things work together for your good, including that failure. So it's for you to transport that failure or transfer that failure to the hands of the Lord. Trust that He will make it beautiful. Whatever you put in the hands of God, He always makes it beautiful. He makes a beautiful story out of it. It makes a beautiful journey out of it. So one of the things I encourage is that please know what God is saying about your life, about that situation. And if failure occurs, try to go back and look for the source of that failure and make up and do something better about it. So yes, this vlog was not meant to be like a motivational video trying to just give you a motivational video. However, I wanted to just be realistic and say that failure happens. And even for me saying this video, I have experienced failure in other areas of my life, even academics. I may say that I've not experienced it like other people because our stories are different, but I've experienced failures in my own way, even academically. And I can say that one of the things that really helped me was my relationship with the Lord. And two, for me, I do think that as a believer, as a Christian, whatever you're going through should draw you to God. Like, no matter how sad you may be about it, no matter how disappointed, let it not draw you away from God. And for me, this principle has really helped me. No matter what it is, no matter how sad I may be, no matter how down I may go, sometimes even if I get depressed about something that has happened, I have learned, and God is teaching me, and I'm still learning to make sure that I still lean back to God, because I know that it is from God I'll get strength to go on and to progress. So I'll just say that whatever it is that you're going through, just make sure it doesn't take you away from God, but let it lead you to God so that you're stronger and you face more. So yes, I know there are extra noises, forgive me. I wanted to just change the area of the video. I wanted to come out. However, I'll not say unfortunately, I'll say interestingly enough, there seems to be a milling company or something close by, and of all times they chose to make noise in the now. And I'm actually not doing this during the day, I'm doing it towards the evening, so I'm not expecting them to be on, especially as here is an residential area, but that's beauty. I wasn't expecting to have this amount of noise, so I hope the noise did not prevent you from hearing what I had to say. I hope it did not prevent you. And so yes, thank you for being here. So it's nice speaking to you, and I do believe that this vlog is going to be an encouragement to you. With that being said, please, the link in the description back down below, apart from my podcast, will lead you to my platform. Please, I want to encourage you to subscribe to my mailing list. I'm preparing an ebook I want to share very soon, a book I want to share, and on my mailing list, when you subscribe to it, I share with you a process of creating and other creative processes as well. Check my podcast for the similar podcast. I shared other things. I also shared a very personal story there, which I did share here. So I believe that is going to bless you. And yes, if you noticed anything in this vlog that was maybe not that cool enough, please forgive me. We are still amateur, we're still learning. Two, if you notice my eyes was darting here, I didn't know where to put my eyes. So I just hope you were able to still enjoy today's vlog. So yes, with nothing else being said, until next time, stay safe and God bless.